Hi guys, EBPMAN with tabletsforme.com, and we're going to do an unboxing of the Samsung Galaxy Note 10.1. This is the Wi-Fi version, 16 gig, that was just released yesterday. Let's see what's inside the box. Let's go ahead and break off the seals so you can see what's inside. Okay. Push that aside. So we have our Galaxy tab. This is the gray version of the Galaxy Note. Put that right here. Inside we have travel charger, and this is pretty similar to the previous version. I don't see much of a difference there. We have our instruction guide, and we have our sync and power cable. We also have the stylus tips. Notice here you have, this is very similar to the Wacom tablets where you have the actual removable tip. And the stylus tips. So this is something for changing the tips. And if I go in the box, that's pretty much it. There's nothing else in the box except for these items. Let's see what it looks like when we start it up. So this is the Galaxy Note, and one of the things I wanted to do before we actually went into it is kind of highlight some of the things. First of all, this is the tablet that has the S Pen support. It does come, and for the reason for that PS right there is for Photoshop Touch. For photo editing. It is a smart remote, so it has an infrared port right here, and then also this is the quad-core processor. So let's take a look at kind of aspects of the hardware before we actually start the device up. First thing that you'll notice is that you do have two speakers. The speakers are placed in the front of the device, and which is a good thing because as you're holding it, if you're holding it and you're watching a movie, I think they're well placed because they're facing you and you're not covering them up, especially if you're holding it like this. The other aspect is that you have your front-facing camera, right? You also have here, as I mentioned, the infrared port, your audio jack, your micro SD for expandable memory, your volume rocker, your power button. On the back, you have your flash and your camera. I don't know many people who use the camera, but it's nice to have that. And then on this side, you have your S Pen, okay? And it's a decent-sized pen for those of you who like to write. Kind of plasticky and very light. I like more substantial weight to the pen, but I'm sure if you added weight to the pen, what would end up happening is the tablet would get heavier. You have a pinhole, I think it's that right here, a pinhole mic right there, and then what you have is your standard, or not your standard, but the proprietary actual sync cable port here. There are no other device connections on any other side except for that. And let's start it up. All right, so let's go ahead and start up. Let's see what the startup sequence looks like. I'm going to press the button down and hold it. It should come with a charge. One thing I didn't get is I did get no vibration from the tablet when I pressed and held the button. Typically you do with some phones. It didn't do that. You see, this is what the startup looks like. We'll do a startup comparison and a hardware comparison between the two tablets, and then we'll do one with the new iPad to see how they compare. That was a pretty decent startup. So here we have the startup process. So we're going to select our country and leave it at the US and hit start. Do it this way. And now what it's doing is it's going to be looking for Wi-Fi. So what I'm going to do is, because this startup process is very similar to any Android setup, I'm going to skip a couple of things. I'm going to set up the Wi-Fi, and then we'll come back to the video. Establish my Wi-Fi connection now. We're just confirming the time. We're going to go ahead and do that. And it's asking me to create a Samsung account. I'm going to skip that, so I'll go back to this later. It's going to ask me about setting up my Google account. Again, very standard. All tablets work this way, so if you're familiar with the Google experience, we'll do this later. I'm going to hit next. So, allowing location information, I'm okay with that. I don't freak out when it comes out to that. We'll hit OK. It's asking for information about the ownership of the tablet. I'm going to go ahead and just hit next. We'll leave that blank. Go back to that later. You get a free 50 gig Dropbox account for 2 years if you sign up for Dropbox. I already have this. I'll just go ahead and look at this later. So we'll go ahead and skip this. Let me skip it. So set up the Dropbox account. Now I'm just going to hit finish. And you'll notice very similar to what we were seeing in the Samsung Galaxy S3, at least the wallpaper is. And if you recall back one of my previous videos where we did the upgrade to the original Galaxy Tab, the layout is pretty much the same when you look at having the 4 widgets and some of the icons. Very, again, same experience when it comes to the navigation bar. Over here on your hot dock, you have the same icons and treatment there. And for the most part, I would say the experience is going to be pretty much the same, except it seems a little bit snappier. Hard to say until we do some performance tests. I don't know how much bloatware there's going to be on the tablet. Really, if you think about, if you just look at this for a second, and the number of icons that we have, we really don't have a lot on here. You have some S Pen applications. You definitely have pre-installed the Barnes & Noble Nook application. We talked about Dropbox a couple seconds ago. Again, this is where some S Pen apps are here. You look over here, we have this is great for college students, textbooks. So you've heard of this on the iPad, where there's an agreement with a lot of the universities to get textbooks online. Here is the same thing. So this is from a company that's available, no.com, where you would be able to get some college type books for use. And let's see, is there anything here worth noting? No, it's the same thing. So really all you have is 2 pages, these set of icons and this set of icons. So pretty light on the bloatware, I'd say, but it definitely has the Samsung treatment when it comes to the ice cream sandwich. So it definitely has their TouchWiz experience on it. So we'll do a further in-depth review and compare it to the existing version as well as the iPad 3, and we'll see how the pen technology works later on.